Hey everybody, I'm glad you're back. This is a video I was not going to make, but we have run into interesting predicament. The reason I wasn't going to show the video is because I've showed changing wheel seals before, and that's what we're doing here. I've already got the brake shoes off, took the axle out. And like I said, I wasn't going to make this video, but we ran into this problem. And what it is, the axle nut is still on there. And this is what the axle nut looks like. Just like this. It's got a lock here, a lock here. When your socket goes down over, it pushes these in so that the nut can actually spin. And it just sits down over the nut like that. That's not the right socket, of course. But here is the right socket. It's a 4-inch socket. The nut is a 4-inch nut. I'm trying 3250. It's a USA. Right there's the number 4. Right here. So you can see that it's a 4-inch nut, 4-inch socket, and that's what's in here. Like I said, these little clips, locks, just go down. When you put the socket on there, it goes on there, nice and snug. And you set the camera down so you can see better. When I do this, it locks on. And once I get it locked on, you see how that ring is staying put, but the nut itself is turning. That's what the socket's supposed to do. Well, where we ran into the problem was, usually you can take these axle nuts off with just a hand ratchet, like a 3/4 drive hand ratchet. Well, I tried to do that, and that was with the locks in there. Well, I took the locks out. Seeing how we used the 3/4 drive impact, we used the hand ratchet, and we even adapted the 1-inch 2,500 foot-pound gun down to 3/4 for the socket to try and get that nut off, and it still hasn't moved. I don't know how well you can see in here all the damage to the socket. It kind of rounded the inside of my socket out with the 1-inch impact trying to get that nut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the Oxing settling outfit up. I'm going to clean up as much as I can with brake clean, try and get that all dry in there. Heat that up as much as I can, how much as I dare, to get that nut off. Hopefully the heat will actually loosen things up to get it off. Now I'm not going to be able to hold the camera and work the torches and socket all at the same time, but if it works, I'll show you after I get it off. Well, the nut is finally off. We didn't have to use the torches. Kaylee actually drilled holes in the side of that nut, and then she went ahead and used an air chisel to spread it, and it was enough to be able to use a 3/4 inch impact with the socket to get it off. So now we can actually see how bad the bearings are and change the seal. Come on back. Okay, Kaylee, we got the hub off. So what are you doing?
I'm looking at the bearings to see the heat discoloration. As you can see right here, see how it's that bronze color? That means this bearing got really hot. You can see this line right here. There's a flat spot, which means at one point in time this bearing stopped moving and it just kind of heated up.
Which means the bearing and the race have to be replaced.
Yes, it's toast.
And if you're doing the outer bearing like this one, you need to do the inner one. Don't ever trust just replacing one of these bearings. Even if the other one looks good, always replace them in pairs.
Yeah, I mean, you can see some heat discoloration in here on this inner race, but all the needles or rollers, because this is a giant needle bearing, they all look like none of them got hot, and all the stress was out here on this outer one. Probably because that thing was over-torqued. I guarantee you that thing was over-torqued. Plus the heat on that spindle. You can see the discoloration on the spindle. This thing got hot. Real hot. And you can see the discolor. Look, there's purple. So even out here, this got really hot, and that's why the nut was welded on. And
luckily, we didn't have to use the torches to cut it off because, like I said, Kaylee used the drill bit, was able to get in there, then used the air chisel and spread it, and then finally, the 3/4 inch impact took it off.
Yeah, because all I did was just relieve some tension on the nut and allow the nut to expand a little bit, just enough just enough to come off, but you can even see the discoloration. I mean, you heat discolored it some, but you can see the threads are black. And there's bronzing in here.
Luckily, we got new nuts.
None of the threads are damaged though, so it was just heat welded on. Oh well.
Thank you
hey.
for coming back, and please keep visiting. I know you're wondering, why are you looking at the refrigerator? Yeah, I'm actually looking at the freezer. And if you look in the freezer here, I went ahead and put the bearing races in the freezer. The reason I did that is there's a little trick that I was taught when I was growing up. And what we would do is we would take the press-in ball joints that would go in cars, and we'd put them in the freezer. We'd put them in there overnight, and then the next day when we go to do the job, we'd heat the A-frame up a little bit with a torch to get it warm. I mean, not cherry red. You don't want to do that because they do have some temper in them. But you just heat them up a little bit. Then you take the ball joint out of the freezer and quickly jam it up into the A-frame, because the freezer makes the metal shrink, and then the heat makes the A-frame expand, means the pressed in ball joint will go up in without a press. So I'm using that same technique with the races. I got the races out of the hub, and the races are in the freezer, and they've been there for a while. Yes, we have a few cats, and this one loves climbing up, as you just seen. Climbs up on his own. But anyways, the race will be a little bit smaller to go into the hub. So when I go to put the races in, I'll do one at a time, leave that second one in there while I work with the first one, and they should go in there with very minimal beating, which will help to prevent from damaging them all.